Think about how money can multiply and bear fruit. Money gives rise to money, and their heirs continue what they started. Becoming an investor is not only advisable, you simply have no other choice. You can decide to work for hire or choose a free profession. You can become an entrepreneur or an expert. But you still have to become an investor, whether you like it or not. Only investing will allow you to achieve true prosperity. If you want to live well, you must become an investor. There are 2 reasons for this. First, no pay raise is good if you don't invest. You can earn twice as much, but without investing, you still won't be enough. Until you start investing the available funds, your debts and the cost of maintaining more high living standards will grow in parallel with earnings. It looks like a leaky bucket. No matter how much water you pour into it, it will not stay there. As long as there are holes in your financial bucket, you will run in place like a squirrel in a wheel. Holes must be repaired, and this requires an accumulation system. By creating such a system, you are already 50% you will be an investor. Secondly, each of us needs security, including financial. The first step to it is financial protection. You must build up a cash reserve of such magnitude as to be able to live for several months if you suddenly run out of source income. But complete security can be achieved only if you can live on interest from their contributions. Thus, you are forced to save money and then do something with it. You need them multiplied, and the faster the better. This is the second 50% needed to become an investor. Many investors who are trying to actively manage their money lack the emotional and personal qualities required to succeed. Let's take a look at 7 traits that I think a good investor should have. First trait: strategic thinking. Evolution has programmed us so that we pay attention to what is happening now, not what might happen in 10 or 20 years. It made a lot of sense to our ancestors. The one who quickly reacted to the rustling behind the nearest bush was able to quickly escape from the predator hiding there and survive. Guess whose genes were passed on to us? Of course, those who fled, even if the threat was not fatal. Our culture has evolved much faster than our brains, which do not help us build long-term investments. If you are guided by short-term information when making investment decisions, then you are creating a reactionary model, not a precautionary one. Most investors cannot resist short-term market volatility. They sell and wait for the market to recover to start buying. Although 30 years of research has shown that this is completely wrong. The successful investor tries to resist human nature. Second trait: ability to appreciate the process, not the result. Most investors make investment decisions based on whether their strategy has worked in the past. One of the rules of the American Securities and Exchange Commission forces managers to write past dynamics is not an indicator of future results when offering investment products. Managers and clients themselves constantly ignore this. Our nature does not allow us to ignore past achievements or failures. Most investors are very concerned about how investments have performed over the previous 1 to 3 years. Results are important. But in reality, it is much more important to study and understand the decision-making process that led to these results, good or bad. If you are only interested in results, you will never know the very process that led to them. As a result, you will start chasing good dynamics that can easily fool you. It is best to look at a manager's or fund's investment strategy over the long term to see if it's luck or a process that's right behind success. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway Foundation is a good example. You would hardly have invested in it in 1999. At this time, the fund showed weak results, and there were notes in the press that Buffett's simple strategy did not work in the new, more complex world. But in the long term, the fund continues to perform well, and Buffett's strategy of analyzing brand awareness, understanding what product or service a company is offering, and its financial performance proved to be justified. Third trait: ability to ignore forecasts. You are unlikely to be able to turn on a business TV channel, watch business publications, or talk to other investors without getting a huge amount of short and long-term forecasts. Predictions about what might happen in the future are very compelling, as we desperately need information about what the future will look like. We try to extrapolate what happened recently to the future, and it never works. Fourth trait: perseverance and patience. All great investors look at the stock market differently. They are united by the fact that they are full of patience and perseverance. In 1999, articles appeared that Warren Buffett was good at the old economy, but couldn't keep up with the new market reality. What was Buffett's answer? He stated that nothing has changed and that he will stick to a process that has served him well for many years. John Neff was a great investor who poured money into undervalued stocks of companies with good financial performance that could rise in value in the future. For decades, the Windsor Fund, which he heads, has shown above-market returns. Neff looked for stocks in companies with low price-to-earnings ratios that were currently undervalued by the market. In the early 1990s, the media reported that the concept was dead. Neff continued to search for and invest money in such securities, as well as to make money for his clients. Everything is clear: the success of an investor is not associated with any specific process, since there can be many processes, but with persistence in adhering to the chosen strategy, even if at some point the results are worse than the market. However, the process chosen by all of these investors is simple and straightforward. Fifth trait: correct psychological attitudes. Ben Graham believed that great investors are not born, but become. This requires constant learning, and not only analyzing their own experience, but also the habits of other people, thanks to which they became successful. I believe that one of the habits that can be adopted is the correct attitudes. Successful investors need to be a bit stoic. The Stoics taught that emotions lead to errors in judgment, and they also believed that judging the philosophy of others was by their actions, not words. Successful investors understand that the writer Napoleon Hill was right when he said that the only thing you can control is your mind. In a practical sense, this means that your actions, feelings, emotions, and thoughts are not based on external events, good or bad, or the words and actions of other people that you do not control, but your actions, beliefs, and habits. Successful investors don't blame others or events for failure. They will never shy away from personal responsibility for what happened. In doing so, they focus on the process and try to improve it. They learn from every lesson, good or bad, and constantly try to incorporate those lessons into decision-making. Sixth trait: ability to distinguish possibility from probability. We live in a world of probabilities. We are eager to know exactly how events will unfold. That is why we need predictions and predictions so much. But even in the most ordinary circumstances, nothing can be predicted with 100% probability, not in the stock markets, not in life. Many people don't see the difference between possibility and probability. Almost any event in this world can happen, even the most incredible. Every morning you can be hit by a bus, killed by a stranger, or you can win the lottery. Belief in probability can make us live in constant fear. This is especially true for periods of crisis when people, frightened, sell all their long-term investments and put money on deposits. At the same time, studies show that after crises most often the market grows. To be successful, you need to know the probability of a particular outcome and calculate it. Seventh trait: discipline. It is very easy to say that you are an unemotional and disciplined investor. Being truly disciplined is very difficult. You will have to fight with every impulse that is inherent in your genes. The real discipline is when everything goes against you, when the week drags on like a month, when you are full of doubts about yourself and doubt every step of how you make decisions, and others criticize you for your beliefs. This is where you need discipline. If you are one of the few people who have all these characteristics, then you will be able to succeed. Moreover, now many are switching to passive investments, which thus increases the chances of success. Keep a detailed diary of your investments, write down where you succeeded and where you lost. Work on your weaknesses. I hope I helped you with something from this video. Punch the like button and subscribe. Until next time, success!